Welcome to my English class. This is teacher Andrea. Que vas a descobrir hoy? 35 regular verbs in the past and their pronunciation. ¿Tienes problemas con la pronunciación de los verbos regulares en el pasado? Si tu respuesta es sí, esta clase es para ti. Are you ready to rock? Yes, teacher Andrea! Light, camera, action! To wash. To wash. To wash is lavar, to wash. I washed my hair this morning. Wash, this ed significa que el verbo es regular y está en el pasado. Pero date cuenta de que la pronunciación del ed es T. O sea, el ed sounds like T. For example, teacher Andrea, I washed my hair this morning. Again, I washed my hair this morning. To start. He started school last Monday. The past of start is started. Y el ed sounds like ed. Started. He started school last Monday. Repeat. He started school last Monday. To land. To land. What's the past of land, teacher Andrea? Landed. Land. Landed. El ed sounds like ed. The plane landed an hour. The plane landed after 1 hour. The plane landed after 1 hour. To text. To text. Se enviar mensaje. Mira que chulo. To text. Que chic. She texted me last night. Text. What is the past of text? Texted. Texted with ed. And this ed sounds like ed. She texted me last night. She texted me last night. To look at. To look at. What's the past of look, teacher Andrea? Looked. The ed sounds like T. The woman looked at our tickets. The woman looked at our tickets to arrive. What is the past of arrive, teacher Andrea? Arrived. Arrived. The ed sounds like D. Letter E is silent. I arrived late at work this morning. I arrived late at work this morning. To book. Reservar. To book. What's the past of book, teacher Andrea? Booked. The ed sounds like T. They booked 2 tickets to Sydney. They booked 2 tickets to Sydney. To cry. To cry. What is the past of crying, teacher Andrea? Cried. With D. The baby cried. Yes, cried. Letter E is silent. Cried because he was hungry. The baby cried because he was hungry. To smile. To smile. What is the past of smile, teacher Andrea? Smiled with D. Smiled. The letter E is silent. Ne smiled. Smiled. He smiled at me. He smiled at me. To watch. What's the past of watch, teacher Andrea? Watched. The ed sounds like T. We watched TV last night. We watched TV last night. To talk about. What is the past of talk about, teacher Andrea? Talked. The ed sounds like T. They talked about the party. They talked. Letter E is silent. They talked about the party. To rent. To rent. What's the past of rent, teacher Andrea? Rented. The ED sounds like ED. John rented a flat near me. John rented a flat near me. To listen to. To listen to. What is the past of listen, teacher Andrea? Listened. Cuidado, não é listened. Não é listened. Listened with D. The ED sounds like D. The second E is silent. I listened with D. I listened to music yesterday. I listened to music yesterday. To walk. What's the past of walk, teacher Andrea? Walked. The ED sounds like T. We walked with T. We walked 10 kilometers last night. We walked 10 kilometers last night. To study. What's the past of study, teacher Andrea? Studied with D. Studied. I studied for the test the whole night. I studied for the test the whole night. To marry. To marry. What is the past of married, teacher Andrea? Married. Não é married. No, the E is silent. Married. John married Emily last spring. Repeat. John married Emily last spring. To play. What's the past of play? Play pode ser jugar ou tocar. En este caso, tocar. To play. Played. No es played. No es played. The letter E is silent. It's played. Susan played the piano in the concert. Letter E is silent. Susan played the piano in the concert. To work. What's the past of work? Worked. The letter E, the ED sounds like T. I worked hard all day. I worked hard all day with T. To wait for. What is the past of wait for? Waited for. Waited for. The ED sounds like ED. She waited for me in the coffee shop. She waited for me in the coffee shop. To drop. What is the meaning of drop, teacher Andrea? Dejar caer. What is the past of drop? Dropped. The ED sounds like T. Grandma dropped the plate on the floor. Grandma dropped the plate on the floor. To finish. Finish. What is the past of finish, teacher Andrea? Finished. The ED sounds like T. I finished the book last night. I finished the book last night. Repeat. I finished the book last night. To leave. What is the past of leave, teacher Andrea? Lived. The E is silent. Lived. Mary lived in Brazil when she was a child. Mary lived in Brazil when she was a child. To cook. To cook. What's the past of cook, teacher Andrea? Cooked. My mother cooked a delicious meal. Repeat. My mother cooked a delicious meal. Cooked. To laugh. With F. To laugh. She laughed with T. She laughed when I kissed her. The first ED sounds like T, and the second ED sounds like T. Laughed, kissed. She laughed when I kissed her. Repeat. Very good. To rain. It rained cats and dogs. Yes, it's an expression in English. It rained cats and dogs. The ED sounds like D. No, rained. No, rained. Rained. It rained cats and dogs. It rained cats and dogs. To change. To change. What's the past of change, teacher Andrea? Changed with D. The frog changed into a prince. The frog changed into a prince. To open. What's the past of open, teacher Andrea? Opened with D. The shops opened 2 hours ago. Repeat. The shops opened. No es opened. No, opened 2 hours ago. To travel. What's the past of travel, teacher Andrea? Traveled with D. Aí, mira, está faltando el D. La pronunciación, ¿no? Traveled. Cuidado que no es traveled. No es traveled. The ED sounds like D. They traveled. They traveled around Europe last year. They traveled around Europe last year to help. What's the past of help, teacher Andrea? Helped. The ed sounds like T. My friend helped me with my homework. My friend helped me with my homework. To seem. What's the past of seem, teacher Andrea? Seemed. She seemed happy at the party. She seemed happy at the party. The ed sounds like D. Seemed, não é seemed. Seemed with D. Seemed. To snow. What's the past of snow? Snowed. The ed sounds like D. Okay? It snowed. Snowed 4 inches last night. It snowed 4 inches last night. What's the past of to dance? Danced. The ed sounds like T. She danced as if no one was watching. She danced, repeat, she danced as if no one was watching. To call. To call. What's the past of call, teacher Andrea? Cold. Cold. Cuidado, não é called. Não é called, it's cold. The E is silent. Somebody called me last night. Somebody called me last night. To check. To check. What's the past of check, teacher Andrea? Checked with T. I checked the weather this morning. Checked. The ed sounds like T. I checked the weather this morning. To clean. Clean. What's the past of clean, teacher Andrea? Cleaned. Cuidado que não é cleaned, é cleaned. The second E is silent. I cleaned my house 3 times yesterday. Limpiei minha casa 3 vezes ayer. Huh? I cleaned my house 3 times yesterday. Ahaha, ¿no? ¿Qué te pareció? ¿Te gustó? Ahora ya sabes que el ED hay 3 opciones para pronunciar el ED en inglés. Às vezes el ED va a sonar como T, às vezes va a sonar como D y às vezes va a sonar como ID. ¿Te gustó esta clase? Muy bien. Ponga tu like, inscríbete en el canal, comparte con tus amigos. Si quieres seguir aprendiendo inglés conmigo, si quieres que tu inglés despegue como un cohete en poco tiempo, si no sabes nada o casi nada de inglés, te invito a que empieces a hacer clases conmigo. Para más información, clica en el enlace azul que está en la descripción de este video. God bless you. Que Dios te bendiga.